Hi everyone, welcome to another session of In Conversation with. I'm KR Nariman, a sculptor based out of Delhi, India. And today it's my privilege and honor to introduce to you Livi Bates.
Hiya.
So, Livi Bates was born and brought up in England, and she completed her foundation diploma in performance design and practice at Central St. Martin's at University of Arts, London. She went on to do her bachelor's in costume design for theatre and screen at Wimbledon College of Arts, and finally completed her master's in fine arts at Wimbledon College of Arts, University of Arts, London. So as we can tell, she has a long association with University of Arts, London,
Yep.
which has been great.
Yeah.
And Livy's artwork is all about storytelling. So from a young age, she's buried herself in books and been lost in imaginative worlds to wanting to create the same experience for her audience as well. And creativity has always been her main outlet in life. And her artistic inspirations comes from literature, film, music, books, mythology, folklore, history, photography, nature, architecture, and being surrounded by fellow creatives as well. So welcome, Livy. Thank you for being with us
Hiya.
today and joining us today.
Thank
So
you.
usually we just start by asking, like I said, you've been born and brought up in England and you stayed there.
Yeah.
And what made you get into all these varying fields of arts, and how has it benefited you, and what ultimately made you go from, say, a diploma to a master's to then finally from a diploma to a bachelor's rather, and then finally to a master's in fine arts?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been interested in art, and yeah, so I originally started off my foundation in performance design and practice at CSM. So basically, well, when I was there, I don't know how it is now, but you had the option to like specialize in certain pathways, or you can just go straight in and try everything. And I've always been interested in like theatre and film. So for me, performance design and practice was like a no-brainer. And basically it kind of incorporates like set design, costume, like anything to do with like dance, I think any kind of performance. And towards the end of that, I really bonded with like set making. Like that for me is what I thought I was going to go into. And because it's all like you said within UIL, they kind of like put you forward like a bit of an internal system.
Right.
And my tutor put me forward for costumes. Like, okay, cool, give it a go. But yeah, I think it was a really great decision because I really enjoyed it. And like you said, it's all about storytelling. So you're kind of imagining that world and like you're becoming the character. Like, so what would they, how would they perceive themselves in that world? How would they see the world? And I thought that was really interesting and I really loved that. And yeah, I mean, towards the end of that, I kind of felt like because it was such a strict, not like a strict course, but you had a brief and you had to do X, Y, Z before like next week or something. You didn't really have a chance to kind of experience and hone your artistic skills. So I felt like for me, that was something I wanted to go into. So I wanted to explore more. So yeah, that's kind of why I went to the Masters in Fine Art and then got to be you and like be around fellow creators. I thought was a really turning point in my career. So yeah.
That's really nice. And so far, what's been your inspiration in terms of the varying artworks that you make and do? And what's the sort of support that you get from your family as well as your friends, and
Yeah, I
also
mean,
have
like,
any like role models? Sorry.
yeah, so sorry. But yeah, no, my family's definitely my role models in that sense. Like they've always been so supportive, and they call themselves like my number one fans. You know, they've always been there for me whenever I'm like had self doubt, which is a lot, and like constantly like encourage me and like give me faith in that sense. And I think just being exposed to art from a young age, like my mum used to take me and my brother to like museums in London, like natural history, I think National Gallery. I think that's where I first kind of like bonded, I suppose, with art, like Turner, Constable, and Van Gogh. I think are ones that I really kind of gravitated towards. I suppose like capturing like the beauty in the world, and that's like the romanticism, like art movement that really captured me. And I think there was one pivotal moment where I thought this is what I want to do. I must have been probably under 10 or something, and we went to go see Matthew Bourne's Nutcracker, which I don't know if you've heard of it, like the production.
Yeah, yeah, of course, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful, isn't it? But yeah, I remember we were seeing then all of a sudden, it comes to life in the sets and like the vibrancy of the costumes in the sets, absolutely incredible. And I was like, oh my God, this
Right.
is something I want to do. It just completely blew my mind. I was like completely immersed in that magical experience. Like, this is what I want to do,
Right.
like for other people, or just, have that sense of like wonder. So
That's
yeah,
so
that was
nice.
pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so throughout your also studies, basically, you
Hmm.
switched and you've gone from like costume design into then fine arts.
Hmm.
And how has all of that helped you ultimately? And how has that gained insight into the art that you make today? Do you think it's helped you or not so
Yeah,
much?
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think in some ways, because storytelling is such a key part, I think it's given me the idea to how to like frame my painting. So like we, I suppose, like costume, we dabbled in the actual Wimbledon theatre. So we'd be playing with light, playing with sound, imagining the colours, like even like the cinematography, so to speak, staging. I think that all comes into creating art. I think that's benefited me so much. And I think, yeah, again, storytelling is just a key theme throughout all of them. And it's just something that you can be whatever you want to be in that certain story, whether it's like stepping through the wardrobe into Narnia or going to Hogwarts, you know, you're completely immersed in that sort of story. And I think that's kind of what's driven me forward as well, like being inspired by literature and everything. So it's all had its key kind of like place
In every
where I
way.
am now.
How come you've decided to stick on to University of Arts London throughout? And what ultimately made you decide to finally go into fine arts as opposed to maybe costume design for your masters? Was there any
Yeah,
reasoning behind it?
I think it's just because I just really bonded with UAL. I mean, CSM is great, obviously, but I think Wimbledon is kind of where I really kind of came into my own, so to speak. And I remember it was a graduation ceremony for the BA, and obviously Grace and Perry's talking and everything, and I had like a huge slideshow of like the end of the year. And I just remember feeling like I'm not done yet. I've got more to learn here. Like I've got like unfinished business, so to speak. And I think I always knew that art was kind of what drew me back. I mean, I loved costume, but I feel like I don't know if I'd necessarily go that path forever. Whereas I feel like art I would, and I wanted to double that more. So I enjoyed the art like aspects of the degree more than like the actual making, because making stresses me out. Sewing machines are not my friend. So it's like paintbrush is fine, sewing machines no. So that's how I kind of do. Yeah, the art's the one for me. So yeah, I was really happy to go CMA at Wimbledon. So,
And how do you think storytelling has actually influenced your art in any way? Like you said, it's a very big part of like your creativity and your process.
mm-hmm.
So what exactly is your process in terms of storytelling? Is it something, maybe do you read a book or watch a film, get inspired, and make something? Or is it like you're living in your own mystical world and through these you create your own world and then jot something down and make something? Like what is your process?
Yeah, totally. I mean, like for the moment, I'm working on like Sleepy Hollow, for example. So for that, for me, it's kind of like delving into that part of history because I always found it really fascinating by the Revolutionary War and everything. And I think it's just taking key aspects of like, even if it's just like the colors in that particular film. I mean, sorry, like the TV show was like, wow, that's amazing. Or just picking up on certain characters, kind of exploring their history more and kind of making my own like narrative and interpretation of it. But yeah, I mean, before I've created my own worlds and I've done that way, or I've done like work inspired by Greek mythology or things like that. So it's just kind of like cherry picking things I'd like and putting my own spin on it. Does that make sense? But,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And what were your learnings as such from a master's course? I mean, you were part of the same master's course. And do you
Mhm.
think that it changed your perspective and how you'd like to conduct your career? And also your medium as well as your career? And, what do you think it makes to be, say, a successful artist? I mean, I say successful in inverted commas because it's,
Yeah.
subjective, but like,
Yeah. Yeah. I think the MA was really like, inspiring for me because, I mean, even though I did costume, I didn't have that kind of fine art background, so to speak. So I think when I started, it was completely thrown in deep. And obviously, you didn't have your own briefs. Like, you weren't given a brief, rather, you had to kind of create your own. And that was, for me, really overwhelming. So I think, I mean, I also learned a lot from our tutors, but I think I fundamentally learned the most from you guys, just like collaborating with
yeah.
fellow creators. I think that was really fundamental in my growth as an artist. Yeah, I mean, I think that was like the key, most important part
Yeah,
for me.
that was actually my next question in terms of just
Oh,
collab.
right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it helps a
But no,
lot.
absolutely. Yeah, and I think, I suppose to be a successful artist, I think it's just to know that you're on the right path and to keep going. Like, don't like listen to like inner critiques, which is what I'm
Yeah,
terrible at doing. So it's just to keep persevering, I suppose, and know that you're doing what makes you happy at the end of the day. So you're on the right path.
yeah, absolutely. And the sort of art that you make that we've always seen has been like super meticulous. and ridiculously time consuming. Like just by looking at it, you know you've been at it for a while, definitely.
Thank
So
you.
you know for a fact that like before there was something, when people considered art to be beautiful, that
Mm.
perspective has sort of changed over time, especially now, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so therefore, do you think that sort of skill and concepts can be married for one thing? And do you also believe in a research based practice, or do you think it's each to their own? And what about for you? I mean, how is yours research based, so it's more intuitive and imaginative? And yeah, so just
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it can certainly be like married. I mean, I know mine's not exactly conceptual, and I know that was a big worry for me during the MFA because obviously you got works where it's completely purely about the research. And I mean, mine is to an extent, but it's obviously not that level because for me, it's also about the actual, I suppose, like craftsmanship in itself. That for me is a big part, I suppose, with you as well. It's like a big key thing. And I feel like all art has its purpose. I mean, like with conceptual art or any kind of art, it's to like inspire or to create change, like political or social inspired arts, to create movements, or simply just to like inspire and just give you like hope. I think, I mean, particularly with the last year, we've all kind of delved into like books or Netflix and things to kind of escape from reality, so to speak. So I think it all has its purpose, and I think it's all got something to bring to the table. But yeah, I mean, mine is a lot of research as well, but you probably just don't necessarily like see it come through. But yeah, it's very much a key part of my process.
how has the pandemic and the lockdown been for you, as that's for everyone? And
Yeah,
do you feel it's hampered your artwork, or it's given you more time to explore different things because you've just been stuck at home, ideally, as most of
yeah.
us have? So do you think it's actually accelerated your artwork, or it's decreased it because you haven't been able to see shows, or
Mm,
be with other fellow artists and no
mm.
collaborations, nothing going on? So how has the pandemic sort of affected your artwork in particular?
I think, I mean, yeah, it's definitely decreased mine. I think I've kind of found it late. It's been really inspiring to see going on Instagram, seeing creators such as yourself kind of like putting loads of artwork out there, which is incredible. I'm so great that it's been able to help so many people. But I think I kind of fall into the bracket where it's kind of hampered things. So I think it's kind of made it harder for me to kind of push through that motivation and belief set in my own self, I think. And like you said, not being around fellow creators, I think has been a real kind of
Yeah,
weird, yeah, or like when you're stuck in your room and you're just trying to make and you put it off, or you just listen to your inner voice and it's not necessarily a good idea. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm getting better now, but I think for a large part of the time, I just found it really difficult to go near
yeah,
artwork.
totally. Also, I think because mental health has really
Yeah,
been a big factor today during COVID, and
yeah,
we've all seen how it's affected everyone. So I
yeah,
do think
totally.
that's also hampered your speed in terms of just,
Mm.
or even creative process, not even speed. I think
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
definitely makes a difference there.
Totally.
And coming back to your work as such, do you sort of make something and then think, okay, how am I going to sell this? Or do you have that at the back of your head beforehand and you're like, okay, I'm going to make this to sell it. So I will think about certain dimensions of what would be people pleasing or what could be sold, or do you exclusively make it for yourself? And do you see art as a sort of a business venture or as a creative, or do you think the two mesh, or what is your understanding of that?
Yeah, yeah, sorry. I think it helps to have like a healthy balance. I mean, the beginning, I suppose, particularly during the MA, I was literally just trying to find my feet, so to speak. And like selling was like not even thinking about
Yeah.
it. But now, certainly, yeah. I mean, you have to kind of realize that you'll probably be parting with your art at some point,
Yeah.
and I think it's definitely helped realizing like where imagining it could be, whether it be in someone's home or an office building, or potentially to exhibit somewhere. I think it helps having that healthy balance of both. I think it
Yeah.
helps keep you on target, and yeah, I think it's good to have a business head on it, but also make sure you're doing stuff that you personally enjoy and happy, because I think that comes through in the artwork. So yeah, just a healthy balance of both.
And do you get attached to your artwork, or you're all right? Like, do
Yeah,
you,
I mean, to be honest, by the time I'm finished it, I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, I've seen
yeah.
it for like, we're working it for months. Like, it's okay. See ya, I'm done. But no, totally during it, yeah, because it's such a fun and yeah, I mean, you're kind of putting your whole self into it. I think,
Yeah.
you can like any creative, you're pouring everything into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, after a few months, I'm like, yeah, it's time for you to go. You can go now. Yeah.
And basically, as an artist, what would be your, say, immediate goal and your long-term goal? Because we've all learned how difficult it is monetarily to stay afloat. So,
Mm.
do you have any other sort of, would you like to work alongside while making art continuously? And is your
Mm.
goal hopefully one day to be able to just support yourself just making art? Or, where are your goals? Where have you set your goals for the immediate present and, of course, future as well? If you think about it. I mean, if you don't, that's all
Yeah.
right.
No, no, totally. No, I get it. I get it. But yeah, I mean, over the last few months, even though I haven't been doing a lot of work on my painting, I've been doing some freelance work, particularly in terms of graphic and product design. So that was a really cool opportunity I landed in, and I've been working on that and kind of honing my skills in Photoshop, which I kind of knew basically like from like A level and like CSM, but it's been really good to kind of harness and learn more skills. So yes, I'm hoping to learn more of that and see if that more of a graphic design freelance venture,
Right.
hang on, like Illustrator and InDesign, things like that. I thought that'd be a good way as like a side hustle, so to speak, to kind of help. Um, yeah, long term wise, it'd be great to fully support myself through my art, but that probably won't happen for a while, particularly with how everything is now. And at least, I suppose, the one positive-ish aspect of everything is that there's a lot of freelance jobs out now, I suppose, because everyone's has to work from home, so everything's kind
Right.
of like
Right.
delegated that way. So it's one small good thing. But
So
yeah, I'm
that's
just
one of
trying
the
to build.
positives, yeah, of the
Yeah,
pandemic. Yeah.
yeah. So it's
I feel-
one tiny,
yeah,
tiny aspect.
exactly.
It's like very minimal, but yeah, it's definitely helped. And I also quite enjoy it. So it's been nice to be creative in another aspect that's got nothing to do with painting as well. It's been quite nice
Right.
play around and problem solve that way. Yeah.
And would you encourage, you think, the youngsters to maybe join a master's program? Would you say that it's helped? Like you said, that of course collaborating with everyone else was your main
Mm,
experience out of it, and that's really helped you. So would you
mm.
encourage younger people to go for a master's program, or you think it's all right to stop at your bachelor's and then dive into work straight? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all for the individual. If you feel like you've learned everything you need to learn after your BA, then by all means, go straight out into work. You know what you want. But I think if you're like me, like you feel like you've learned a lot, but it hadn't completely developed all of your skill set, or you had
Right.
something that you wanted to kind of complete, then absolutely, the masters, I'd absolutely recommend it. And yet again, even if you don't really know what you're doing during, I think that's still fine. I mean, for the first year of our masters, I was definitely still trying to find my feet, so I wouldn't worry too much if you haven't got it completely cracked
Right.
at the beginning. But I think it was such a fundamental, probably the most important part of my education so far. I think, yeah, it was really fundamental in that sense. So definitely recommend it. Yeah.
And what would you tell just anyone who's younger than you, or even people who are way older who want to enter the field? What sort of
Mm.
just inspiration would you want to give them to get into it, if at all they have?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry, yeah, just to definitely like follow your own path. I can just ignore the outer critics, even inner critics, because
Yeah.
I'm notorious for that. But yeah, I mean, if it makes you happy, then absolutely go for it. And there's enough room for everyone, so you don't need to feel pressured like someone's already hit that kind of target. We all work at our own pace and everything happens for a
Right.
reason. And yeah, just to persevere and just do whatever makes you happy, really. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank
I
you.
was Livi Bates on In Conversation With, so we hope to
Bye.
see you soon. Thanks, Livi.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.